Hello, and welcome to I Choose You, the podcast about cooking and eating Pokemon. My name is Jeremy Zielik. I'm the host and Alton Brown of the group. Joining me this week, as always, is
Friend of the show, Ben Montoya.
Ian Davis, the Leto Atreides the second of the show.
Oh, shit.
And Evan Aubrey. Damn it.
Woo!
Everywhere.
Oh, no, everywhere.
Well, you know, as per usual.
Yeah, right.
This desk mat is soaking wet.
Yeah, as it should be. Well, we just all cracked one because it's been 3 goddamn weeks since we recorded an episode of I Choose You.
Woo!
So we're back in the fucking saddle. We're ready to eat these. Yeah, 3 more weeks or 3 more years.
I like this side.
3 more decades, 30 years.
30 years of I Choose You. Wow.
50 years I Choose You. And to the listeners at home, you might be wondering what was going on? Why were you so busy? And the answer was I was out of the country. So that's the main reason. And I had a great time. And if anyone has any food related questions about my trip, feel free to ask them and I'll try to put a spin on them.
So I like whenever Jeremy goes out of the country, because for the next 2 seasons he'll be like, that one time I was in Portugal.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. This is basically just kind of like the prologue to season 7, which is when we're going to hear all these fucking stories about, well, actually, this one time I'm in Portugal.
Yes, I was in Portugal. More specifically, I was on the Azore Islands, which are in the middle of the Atlantic. It's kind of like a cross between Ireland and Hawaii, if you really think about it.
Are the people also a cross between Ireland and Hawaii?
No, they've got their own bit, which is being Portuguese and specifically Azorean. Yes, well, yeah.
It sounds like the setting for a Bionicle movie.
Oh.
Well, there are a lot of volcanoes, and I know Bionicles do enjoy volcanoes.
Who doesn't?
Definitely, yeah.
Azor does sound like a Bionicle villain.
Mhm.
Ooh.
Well, it's a type of bird, and the islands are named after a bird that wasn't actually on the island, so they're misnamed. That's a fun fact for you. But food-wise, it's a very dairy-forward society. So you got a lot of milk, you got a lot of cheese, you got a lot of butter. They have a specialized cheese called Sao Jorge cheese. So if they just have that in the fucking airport. So if you wanted to pack it up before you go across the country, you could get some of that. It was very good.
Sue George, like the guy who did the soundtrack to Life Aquatic.
I don't know if
Portuguese guy who covers the David Bowie songs.
Maybe. I don't remember his name exactly, but if he's named after the island where the cheese comes from, then perhaps.
What does the cheese taste like?
It's kind of cheddary. It comes in a wheel, and you cut it, and it's pretty sharp. So it's a little crumbly, but not too crumbly, and it's really good on the local breads. So, yes, Ian.
I'd like to focus this area of the conversation. Outline everything you had to drink while you were there.
Okay, well, I had some water. I had some water. I had some tea. This is an important factor, is that the Azores are the only place in Europe that grows its own tea. Tea was very good, and every time you went to the tea factory, they gave you free tea. So we went
How
there
many
once.
times did you go to? I was going to say, how many times you go to the tea factory?
I went there once, and then the next day I went there again. So I went there twice, and I got free tea both times. That was on accident. We weren't really planning to do that, but it was nice. Drank a lot of wine. They have a lot of local wines that are special because they're produced. They're grown in volcanic soil. And specifically, the wines are grown on the island of Pico, which has the highest point in all of Portugal. So it's a really tall mountain, and it creates a rain shadow where the soil is a little drier, so it's easier to grow grapes in that area. And they have a specified wine that's called Terres de Lava, which is the kind of lava vintage from the island. So it doesn't. I don't know if it tastes like lava. But
does that happen to be an orange wine?
It's a white wine, and it looked pretty white. So I couldn't tell you if it was
I've been getting into
color.
orange wines lately,
Okay.
and they're very volcanic-y because they're grown in volcanic regions. They're only orange because they ferment white wine with the skins on, and that's it's really good.
Yeah.
I've never heard of orange wine.
It's real good. Highly recommend.
I think for this show, the most important meal I had was in a town called Furnash, which is in a crater of caldera. And there's a lot of like geothermal activity, so like hot springs and boiling water and all that kind of stuff. And in this town, you can go to a variety of restaurants and get the local delicacy, which is called cocido de Furnash, which is like a big stew that they put in a giant pot, and then they take that pot up to the lake, and then there's a spot near the lake where the geothermal activity is just right, and they just dig up a big hole, put the stew pot into it, bury it for 6 hours, and the geothermal activity in the caldera cooks the food.
Whoa,
so
that's awesome.
they don't do any no outside heating. It's all geothermal activity, and then they like bring it out to your table, and it's cocido de Furnash literally means cooked in a volcano, because the meal is literally cooked inside of a volcano.
That's pretty awesome.
Which
Jeremy,
is pretty exciting.
would you, if you had a like travel cooking documentary show, food show, could it be called Noshing and Furnash?
That's what this episode would be called.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
I could definitely see that, though. I think that's a little specified for maybe more wide-ranging elements that I think my show would want to cover. I would think maybe we could call it like Jazzy Around the Globe or whatever.
Empty plate with Jay-Z is what
Empty plate. Ooh.
Yeah.
Whole hog with Jay-Z.
Yeah, the whole hog. So that's basically the food experience that I had. So lots of meats, lots of cheeses, lots of wine. Good time was had by all. Listeners have any questions, just ask me, and I'll try to provide answers as best I can about these wacky Europeans. What are they going on to next?
Yikes.
Yes.
Well, here's one thing that I learned recently, kind of on that wine tip with Portugal, is that ports are just wine from Portugal. This is something that I learned. My mom taught me recently. But like, you know how like sometimes you'll go somewhere and they'll like, you know, for like a dessert wine or something, there'll be like a port that you can order. Yeah. That just means that it's from Portugal.
Wow.
Right?
That's fucked up.
Is that really true?
Well, it's true of things like champagne and tequila.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. But like port is such a specific style. Like
it's like sweet, right? Yeah.
It can be just a dessert. It's thick.
I mean, I trust my mom because she's kind of she drinks a lot of wine, not to brag or anything.
Ben claims that he has a quote unquote wine mom.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd say that she's pretty authoritative on most wine things. I trust her in that realm
Only
of knowledge.
From the region of Portugal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there is a place in Portugal called Port. It's called Porto in Portuguese, and so that is the port region of Portugal. I don't know if this is all connected or not. I would have to do more research on this tip. But yeah, no, I mean, I could believe it. There's, stuff from certain places like your Dijon mustards or your champagnes or tequilas. They're all from a specific location to be considered those things kind of situation. So,
Jeremy, would you say that any of the things that you ate or drank in Portugal were quote unquote silly? What would you say was the silliest meal you might have experienced there?
It's an interesting question, Ben. I thank you for bringing it forward. I
guess
this
is a comedy show, and I like to laugh, so I would just like to laugh. Make me laugh, Jeremy.
Okay. I got at a restaurant. They brought us filet mignons that we had to cook at our table.
Oh, good one, Jeremy. Do it again.
And they had really hot pieces of rock that you had to cook your meat on, kind of situation.
Was it loud?
It was loud.
Ooh.
It was, Ian.
Checks off the box.
Yes, Ian. Fuck you. It was, you just rubbed some oil and salt on it, and it like fucking sizzled. And you're like, shh, and you're like, fuck yeah. Oh yeah, I can feel the heat, and it like the oil's like burning my skin as I'm cooking it at my table. It wasn't burning my skin. That was a joke. But it was all coming together. It was pretty good. I also really like potatoes. So.
Did you make any like Lord of the Rings jokes?
What are taters? No, I didn't say that. One of the tour guides was like, "Oh, it's kind of Lord of the Rings-esque, if in the mountains kind of thing," but that was more like to describe the scenery, which again, volcanoes, which are in New Zealand as well, and like lakes and stuff. So all that came together beautifully in that regard.
Well, I have something fun to drink. I don't know if anyone else has something that they would like to describe, proclaim.
Okay, hold on. LaCroix boys, now tell us what you're LaCroixing this week.
Well, as you can see, I have a thin can right here. And so I went camping this weekend. The glare is purposeful. I don't want you to see the
Yeah.
I want you to guess at what this is, because
I think
It does
it's
look like a Simply drink.
Yeah.
okay, well, so I guess the illusion was ruined. This is a simply spiked strawberry lemonade.
Oh, they've entered the spiked game now.
Well, yeah, because so I went camping this weekend, and one of the people that we went camping with brought a bunch of these, and I was like also very surprised that Simply was getting in there, and it's not bad. It tastes exactly like if you just bought some Simply lemonade juice at the store, and there's a little bit of alcohol kick at the end, but
what
not
kind
bad.
of alcohol is it?
Couldn't tell you.
Okay.
It's just
like the
5%.
mystery alcohol that's in
Yes.
all of the other seltzer.
Yeah, it's probably like a White Claw thing.
It's
grain alcohol.
It's the pre-distilled version of like hand sanitizer. They're like, this isn't the pure stuff, so we like siphon that off to our beverages.
Do they make other, like, is it just lemonade, or do they have like, they could easily go for like a screwdriver or something like that?
I don't know. The pack that the person had was like a variety pack, and it was like blueberry, strawberry, lemonade, and watermelon. And this is the only one I've tried, so it's pretty good, I would say. Yeah.
Well, on this return to LaCroix boys, I have a Trader Joe's sparkling water blueberry lemonade, and I must say I do enjoy the Trader Joe's sparkling water. It's pretty good.
Nice.
And Trader Joe's doesn't carry LaCroix, so when I go shopping there, I'm like, I'll just get some sparkling water here. Man. I know I'm betraying brand betrayal.
I've got a Lagunitas Island Beats Tropical IPA.
Nice.
Ooh,
pretty good.
That sounds like something I would definitely love.
It's real juicy. It's delicious.
Oh.
Nice.
I have just a LaCroix Sao Paulo. Actually, I have two stories regarding LaCroix boys. First, I walk into the teacher's lounge last week, and there's a desk in there that like people will just put shit they don't want anymore, like textbooks, books. I got like a fun poster I got a poster that had like a really cheesy like image on it, and it said like bullying's bad or something like that.
Which you hung up in your bedroom, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We're laughing, but bullying is bad.
Yeah, don't do it. But I walked in, and there's just an unopened can of LaCroix on the table. And I was like,
you're like, who couldn't want this?
I was like, don't mind if I do.
You take off your deer hooves and your fingers are.
So that was good. Other fun drink-related adventure was just today. I went and saw Grace played a gig with a community big band at this German cultural club. And in the back of this club was a bar.
An open bar?
No. Oh. But she did get a free drink ticket, so I took it and I went back there. And while I was waiting for like one of the two bartenders to help me, even though like everyone else had already been served, they were just chatting with the guy next to me. And he's smoking a cigarette.
Ooh.
Inside?
So was it like in Germany? Was this like the hardcore Albuquerque like German community that doesn't recognize like laws from 1999 or whatever?
It's like an embassy, you know?
I will say it's funny when you go to a European airport recently, what I did, they have smoking lounges, and it's just like the one in Lisbon was just like a cylinder, and there's just like 6 people smoking like cigarettes and cigars in there, and I'm like, that seems like an awful experience.
Seriously.
Yeah, I accidentally went in one when I was in the airport in Spain, and it was literally, there was just a smoke cloud and it smelled gross, and I was like, oh, and shut.
What's the point of having smoking areas if they're not outside? Like,
well, they're in a tube, Ben. They're in a tube.
If you're an addict and you just need to do it.
I mean,
right
I can
then
understand.
and there.
Like, I understand, needing to smoke at the airport. You're traveling, blah blah blah. But like, at least in America, I feel like most of the lounges are outside somewhere. Like, there is somewhere that you can sit outside. But like, if the point, I don't know. This is neither here nor there. I'm not. No one at the fucking European Union air traffic, administration is going to be listening and be like, they make some good points actually.
I agree, Ben. I think I do agree with you. I think it's strange. Now, maybe these Europeans are like, oh, these tasteless Americans, they do not understand the smoking lounge. And I'm like, oh, whatever. I don't care. It smells bad in there. But Ian, did you get like a stein of beer and did you like swing it back and forth?
No, it was pretty lousy. I mean, they did have some sort of Santa Fe on tap. I didn't even bother asking them what it was. I was just like, give me that. But I'm like listening to this conversation because this guy's smoking a cigarette and he's like, man, like nowhere lets you smoke anymore. And the bartenders are like, yeah, can you believe it? This fucking city, like.
So they're gonna say like, oh yeah, this place doesn't let you smoke. You should put it in.
What sort of time loop are you in? What the fuck? Jesus Christ.
You haven't been able to smoke inside restaurants since the 90s. I don't know what they're going on about.
And this country's gone down the shitter since then.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That is, would never have expected that, honestly.
Me either, because like walking in, you're like, oh, it reeks in here. But like you figure this building hasn't, like the walls probably haven't been washed in like 50 years, so it's just part of the aesthetic.
Yeah.
But no, it's more than that.
This guy's single-handedly just stinking up the place.
Live. I wish it was like on the, what did they call those? The cigarette holders.
I think they're just called cigarette holders.
Like at least
you mean like the ones that are like super long?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the 20s or whatever.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Like F. Scott Fitzgerald, and then you're like do the Charleston or whatever.
If you at least had that, that would have been like fun, or a corncob pipe.
Yeah.
Nose, something. But
If it was Frosty the Snowman, that would be fun.
Frosty did smoke. Can't deny it. Like,
I mean, he had a corncob pipe and a button nose and three
he's
eyes
stuck in
made
a
out
time
of coal. Yes.
do you think that Frosty vapes now?
Yes.
Ooh.
I mean, honestly, for Frosty's sake, it takes out the flame element, which is dangerous. So I would imagine that vaping would be the way to go for Frosty.
I mean, it's fucking spring now. No more snow on the ground, so Frosty's dead. R.I.P. Frosty. You smoked. You smoked up too much in this thing. He also has flammable materials in his body. Like he has coal in his body. Like if like a spark gets on that, it's over for him.
Yeah.
He just likes living on the edge. Well, time to move on to the next section of the show, which isn't the main section, because I want to briefly discuss an important cinematic event that happened in the last while I was gone. Ben, I saw that you saw the Mario movie. And I don't know how you felt about the Mario movie. Tell us your honest, deep down, true opinions of the Mario movie.
Okay, well, it seems that some members of the podcast believe that there will be many spoilers to be had in this discussion of the Mario movie. And for that reason, I will tell you all my favorite moments.
It's
Take off your headphones now.
When Luigi and Bowser made "Sweet Sweet Love."
When after Bowser like sang a really great song, then Luigi came in, and the media did not lie. He was as hard as a Koopa shell when little Luigi walked in, and I was like, wow, that's great for some bisexuality representation right now. But of course, it was like that plot line kind of resolved itself. Doomed by the narrative they were.
Yes.
And I thought that part was really great. I'm sure the Funky Kong cameo was great too. That was just, I mean, I wasn't expecting it, but it was pretty great.
I mean, I'll say this. Funky Kong is legitimately in the movie. He doesn't say anything. He is there. You can look at him. I think
Does he look like this?
He does. He's
nice.
He wears a wife beater and a do-rag. And he's like in the crowd of a bunch of Kongs, and he's like, he's saying something, but you can't like make out any distinct words. So
who do you think? Who do you think? No, I think if you check the credits, like see if there was a voice for him. Maybe he's just so far in the chorus that he didn't really get a part. But like, who do you think voiced Funky Kong?
Well, there's a whole section in the credits called just as additional voices, so it's just like random like voice actors doing bit parts for background characters. So maybe he's one of those guys, but I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Was it The Rock?
Yes. Damn, that's what they're fucking set up for the next movie is the Rock versus Donkey Kong, Funky Kong versus regular Donkey Kong. That's what the Donkey Kong movie's going to be about.
I mean, Donkey Kong has a gun.
Yes, he does.
I don't think Funky Kong has a gun.
He does. That's true. Funky Kong does run an airport, so maybe he could 9/11 Donkey Kong. If we really think about it.
Fuck. No, that's terrible.
What?
Wow.
I do have to say that I think the thing that I wasn't surprising that was the most surprising was kind of like the third act, big bad reveal. It you think it's Bowser, right? But then it kind of moves out and it's actually Waluigi.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was great. Great.
It starts on Bowser and Mario and Luigi are they're fighting each other and it's like, well, wow, where's this gonna go? And it the camera starts pulling out and it keeps pulling out and then you see that it's like a puppet stage and that Waluigi is controlling all of the other characters on strings and this is all just a mad game for his entertainment and our entertainment and it implicates the audience in kind of the manipulative process of art because are we entertained by this man who controls others? And the answer is yes.
Yes.
We are the problem.
And are we attracted to that man as well? Yes. Yes, we are. Yes. That implicates us. And yes, we have to say this is the conversation we have to have. Yeah. And that's what's so great about the Mario movie.
Yeah. Yes, Ian.
I have 3 questions.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
1. How many MILFs are hunted?
At least 2.
Okay.
Oh.
Hunted to completion.
At least 2.
Yeah.
Second question. I'll wrap this into one. How was the voice acting of Mario, and would you recommend someone like me go see this film?
Okay. So a legitimate question. And actually, I will. I'm trying to pull out some funny little bits here, but I actually really did enjoy the movie, and I was surprised by that. I feel like the whole expectation going into it was just oh my god, this is gonna be so shitty. It's gonna feel like such a ingenuine or just cash grab, right? It's a kids movie, and it's gonna feel like a kids movie, but it actually was really really fun. The music was so cool, honestly. I want to watch orchestral scoring of this movie. I would
Score
legitimately. Only. Yeah, I mean the music was really good. There was all sorts of references throughout the whole thing.
I will say the when it's not some fairly obvious needle drops that are kind of eye rolly, the actual score of the movie just is what if we made the Mario theme with a 300-piece orchestra for a movie and it's fun. You can't deny it. The Mario music is good and it's good when it's loud kind of situation. I'll say I'm a little cooler on it than Ben, but mostly because it's the guys who made the Minions and except the Minions now are the Toads. And it's fun to see you point at the screen and there's hey, there's Luigi, and that happens a decent amount of times. But I will say the big thing everyone was twisting their knots about was Chris Pratt is Mario. That doesn't make any sense, and it's fine. He does a light Brooklyn accent, and that's that's his Mario bit, and it's fine. You don't really notice it after a while.
Yeah, I would say he's probably the most forgettable part of it. All the other voice actors I felt did really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So recommended to go see.
Yes.
Yeah, I would recommend it, definitely.
And you should especially see it with the children in my theater who afterwards were arguing about how it reacted to the canon of the Mario games and if it should be counted as truly a part of Mario lore going forward. Because they're they're like, in the game, they don't live in Brooklyn. They live in the Mushroom Kingdom. Why? That doesn't make any sense. They don't have a family.
I like how Jeremy tries to play this off as, oh yeah, 2 kids I overheard, but it was really him talking to himself very loudly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yes, it was.
Yeah, in the theater, as soon as Mario goes on screen, he's like, guys, that's Mario.
Yeah. I turned to the empty seat next to me and I was like, that's Mario.
You see, he says, I live in New York. And you're like, no.
No, he doesn't. He lives in Mushroom Kingdom.
Shouts that loudly in the theater.
Well, they mentioned Brooklyn and Queens. Now they only got
Queens.
3 more. They got 3 more boroughs to go. I hope the next one they take Manhattan, like the Muppets.
Oh, that'd be
Or
good.
Jason. I think every character at some point should take Manhattan as like a franchise entry in a film. So the Mario Brothers Take Manhattan will certainly be the sequel to the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Honestly, like I'm so like not angry at it that I would definitely see another movie that they do in this series. Like I'm not totally like allergic to it. So one thing, I was going to mention this. You mentioned the kids in your theater. There was obviously some children in our theater too. And like these one kids were sitting right behind us. And like before the movie starts or whatever, there's like this Nintendo title card kind of thing where it's like, the wahoo, and he like jumps and hits the coin and then it shows the Nintendo logo. And the kids behind us were like, oh, they put an ad for Nintendo in front of it. And I was like, you're not wrong. You're not fucking wrong. This is kind of one big advertisement for Nintendo. So. Yeah,
well, I mean, this movie is to encourage you to buy a Nintendo and Nintendo-based products.
Yeah.
And like, feeds back and forth. What's funny is almost the exact same thing happened at my screening, where during the trailers, a child was like, "Why are there so many advertisements?" And I was like, "Well, that's just how
movie."
Yeah, that's just they have to tell you what movies are coming out. You've got to know that the 3rd Trolls film is coming later this year. Jesus. I'm sorry.
Speaking of other movies, real quick, D&D movie.
Yes.
Oh,
very good.
Yeah,
that's what I heard. I was surprising to hear that it wasn't terrible.
Yeah,
I would watch it again.
Okay, I'd be down to see it.
The Dungeons Dragon movie is a lot of fun. You don't have to know anything about D&D to like it. It has like some fun, like kind of Muppet based characters. Where it's like a guy in a fun suit and a kind of like a puppet head talking, and there's some good bits, and it's fun. It's hard to like describe what makes it fun without seeming lame, but it's like they use their spells, they cast their spells properly. They had
just to roll back. You're afraid of sounding lame on this podcast.
How much lower could you possibly go?
I did buy the like special cup and bucket for the film.
Yes.
So was the popcorn bucket like Chris Pine's head, and you're like eating out of it as you watch him on screen?
Yeah, it's like I'm reaching into his mouth to pull out the popcorn.
Yes.
All right.
And let me tell you, what a good investment, because you guys know I love a good Coke slushie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So filled that fucker up. I had my big popped corn. Ate all that, slurped all that. As I'm walking out, I walk up to the counter. I'm like, "You said free refills, right?" And I got a second bucket and drink.
Holy shit!
Oh yeah!
And you just took it outside.
I did, and it was windy that day. Popcorn does not.
Oh no!
I just imagine you're like, "Oh boy," and then you step outside and just like it goes right into your face.
Whoa!
I went to a brewery with my buddy after seeing it, and I'm like trying, because I can't like put this bucket down in the car or else it's gonna
popcorn everywhere.
So I'm like holding it in my lap, trying to like shift gears and steer and like make turns. And then I went into the brewery and I got to eat popcorn with my beer, and it was great.
Oh,
how do they let you take it in?
Who's gonna fucking stop me?
He's too powerful. Yeah. I think you rolled a deception check, and you tricked the bouncer at the bar to let you in with your popcorn.
Yeah, wait, so every like 5 minutes in the movie, did they like stop and then have like B-roll of some guy rolling some die to like make everyone do the next thing?
I hoped it was gonna be that. To be honest with you, like all jokes aside, what I loved about the movie is that for someone who plays a lot of D&D, they touch on a lot of the tropes and things about the film or about the game that you're like, oh yeah, that's like absolutely how playing this game works, and like the funny things that happen, but not in a way that like you cringe or is like over the top. It's just like subtle enough that you're like, oh yeah, like that's definitely a character trope that like is played out often, but it's done in a way that
nice.
Yeah, I mean, and I didn't stay through the whole credits, but they never like pulls back and you see like Chris Pine and Hugh Grant like rolling dice to like resolve a situation kind of thing. So
I do wish that happened.
That would have been pretty funny.
There was no like slow-mo hand rolling the dice, and like at the very end, it like tips over from
it's 1 and then it goes to a 20. Don't think the 1 and 20 are next to each other. But yeah, D&D movie, good. Just so many movies coming out. But this isn't a movie podcast. This is a podcast about cooking and eating Pokemon. Sometimes we talk about movies like we did a couple of weeks ago. But this week, we're going to do our traditional 90 to 100 episode run where we go back and look at Pokemon we missed to cook and eat anew. So a lot of people are like, oh, you're starting Gen 7, 6? I don't remember which one we're on. 7, yes. And no, we're going back. We're going to do a nostalgia tour. We're going to play the fucking hits. Gen 1, here we go. And this week, we're going to cook and eat Onix. That's right. Another fucking rock that we're going to have to eat. This is our favorite a challenge that we give ourselves is cooking Onix. So I think we're going to be hooked on Onix this week.
Ooh,
good one.
Nice.
So let's start with recipes. I don't remember what the last thing we did was or who won or what it was like. I think it was our finale, so nobody won because it was
well cultural. Don't we usually whoever like won the last season starts?
Which was Ian.
That's true.
Oh shit,
Ian.
really?
Yeah, I think Ian's
I thought
up.
Jeremy won the last season.
Let me double check.
Well, now we have.
Was it finally Jeremy's year? Wow.
Well, he's had 2. I thought that was.
Oh, I think you're right. Actually, I think Jeremy did win. Because Jeremy was like, "Oh, I never win." Blah blah blah. Yeah, finally. And then I was like, "No, actually, Jeremy, you've done this before. This has happened before."
What if
you're right. Yeah.
But what if I was like, win? I'm baby. Give me win.
That's literally what you do.
It's like there's an echo in here. But the reason why it was Ian was second place, and it was very close.
Yes. Okay. All right. This week on I Choose You, I'll just go first because I hope no one steals my recipe because I thought this was fairly clever. So when you're looking at Onix, it's like a giant snack, right? It's long. It's got it's segmented, and it has a head, a body, and like kind of like a long body, a winding tail kind of situation. And I was thinking to myself, man, it's a rock, so we're gonna have to do some presuppositions for our food items to get from it. But then I was like, name. What can I do for a good name? And then it came to me like a blast. We're gonna make some Onix tail stew. That's right, oxtail stew. But instead of ox, we're using onyx tail. So has that separation. We're gonna has the long cooking process kind of thing going for it to bring down the tenderness of a rock. I'm gonna assume that the inside of the Onix, so like you get your pickaxe clang, the rock comes off, and there's a more nougaty center to it than you would expect, and it's not rock all the way through. There's some sort of flesh on the inside.
Gotcha.
The rock's more like a skin. But anyway, we're gonna get some. We're gonna get our Onix tails: salt, pepper, onion, green onion, garlic and ginger, tomato paste, habanero, seasoning, soy sauce, beef broth, lime beans, cornstarch. And we're gonna sear the Onix tails and with their olive oil and our seasonings until they're nice and golden brown. We're gonna saute with our onions and garlic, and we're gonna add our and once they're cooked a bit, we're gonna add our beef broth and the rest of our seasoning to it, and we're gonna let that cook for about 2 hours. and then we're going to stir it a little bit, and then we're going to let it cook a little longer, 30 to 45 minutes, until those oxtails are nice and tender. You just want to be able to like pull it apart with a knife, with a fork and nothing else kind of situation. Serve it on some rice, and you got a delicious onyx tail stew.
Ooh. I've never had an oxtail stew, but I have had oxtail pho. What? So what's the sorry? What was the base again for this stew?
It's like a beef broth.
Okay, so that's relatively similar.
Yes, and we got a bunch of other stuff like garlic, onion, soy sauce, habanero, tomato paste. It's kind of it's got a bit of zing to it kind of situation. Yes, Ian.
Delicious.
When I was in Portugal, I went to this restaurant where they cook the food in the volcano.
Ah, yeah.
Wait, Ian, you went to Portugal?
Yeah, I don't like to talk about it. I don't like to brag, but I spent some time there in the Azures. Would you consider cooking the stew port style?
Yeah, in a volcano. I think it doesn't cook as long as that, but I think it could theoretically be possible. You would have to like keep an eye on it. So you like braise it first, and then you put it in the volcano. So you cook your meat, and then you move your pot to the volcano, and then you'd probably only cook it for a few hours, like 2.5, depending on the heat of the geothermal activity, before you pull it out. And maybe instead of a volcano, it's, as our Discord user said, a camerupt, where we like get a camerupt and we like bury it in there to cook it up and get it nice and going.
Nice.
I really like your wordplay and recipe. I like that you incorporated the tail into it too. I think it's just like it's pretty clever over there, Jay-Z. Coming back into the fresh from your vacay, you got a new perspective.
Yeah. And it also I would say Onix is mostly tail, right?
Oh,
90% tail.
Yeah.
10% head.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Who wants to go next? Let's say Ian goes next.
All right. Looking at Onix, and I'm thinking kind of worm-like.
Uh-oh.
Could be.
Kind of spice worm. Kind of muad'Dib. Kind of Shai Halud.
Oh,
right.
So when Brock sees an Onix, he's like, "Bless is coming and going."
Yeah, there's that part where like Ash Atreides is like walking through the desert and he has to like ride the Onix.
Yeah. Ash Atreides is good. Yeah.
we could probably do a whole Dune Pokemon crossover.
Oh, easily. Yeah.
You definitely could. I have I just only know the words that Jeremy keeps saying over and over again.
Well, it's fun now is Ian says them even more than I do.
Yeah, no context for me beyond part 1 of the movie.
Yeah. Ian, what Pokemon should play the chair dog?
Chair dog would probably have to be, I don't know, a Poochyena.
Okay.
Houndoom.
Yeah, Houndoom is what I was thinking for the chair dog.
Like nice and warm, heated seat.
Yeah.
Yeah, Giovanni is like a Harkonnen,
Yeah, who plays what's his name? The Sting character in the original movie that Leto fights at the end of the first book. Oh my God, this is gonna be. Oh, we're doing posting too much. Okay, sorry. Right.
Anyway, so yeah, I mean, Onix, I was thinking was absolutely, one of the makers, if you will. And so I want to make for you the Spice Must Flow cinnamon chicken roulade with turmeric rice dunes and tzatziki sauce.
Nice.
Delicious.
All right. Okay.
So are we getting like dunes of spices in this dish?
Oh.
Just lumped.
Yes.
Just like a cinnamon challenge with everyone.
Yes. Like, what if we make like a desert of spices? Like the sand is like cinnamon and like cumin or whatever.
Sounds like an expensive.
It does.
So what you need for this is you need some puff pastry and about 3 pounds of chicken thighs. You need some cinnamon. You need some Onix spice melange.
Which is what?
Well, I'm presupposing that if I guess I haven't completely worked out the process, what would be the most fun. The most straightforward would be like maybe you grind up his bones, and that's the spice. But also perhaps maybe when he's like burrowing underground, there's some sort of like thermal reaction within his body that like the byproduct is the spice.
Just poops out spice.
But he is spice. Onix is
spice.
Okay.
Yeah. Gotcha. Solid spice.
Yeah.
He's the sporty spice of the Pokemon world.
Yes.
Okay.
Salt, black pepper, lemon juice, onion, egg, olive oil, and some, etc. Preheat get your grill going to about 450. And gonna get like a gallon bag, put the chicken in there with all the spices and the lemon juice and olive oil and onions, and let that marinate for overnight. Take your time. Let it soak in. Which in hindsight, I don't know why they put the first step as heating the grill and then marinate this overnight.
Oh, yeah.
Leave your grill going overnight.
Gotta just keep feeding the flames all night long.
Yes. Get your grill hot, marinate it, turn your grill off, come back to it, heat it up again.
So then with the grill heated up nice and hot, put a sheet pan in there with aluminum foil, spread the chicken across it with the onions in one layer, and let that go for 18 to 20 minutes, flipping the chicken as needed. And once the chicken's cooked through, and it has a little bit of char on top, set it aside to cool. And then you're going to go to your oven, set that to 450. Chop the chicken into pieces. And what you're going to do with the dough is you lay out the dough, you put the chicken and the onions and all your shit, and you roll that up into a worm shape.
Okay. Yeah.
Stick that back in the oven.
Mm-hmm.
Finish it off. You make your rice. I don't need to fucking tell you how to make some rice. Okay.
Yeah. Just do it.
Just do it. Lay the puff pastry on the plate and like cut it into like little sections, kind of like an Onix's sections. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have your little dunes of rice. Like maybe you make them little mounds. Make it a little fun for the family.
Okay.
And then you get some tzatziki sauce on the side and.
Continue, Ian. I'll let you finish.
The spice must flow.
Okay.
It does.
All right. Loving this. You got your Onix, and it looks like a puff pastry, right?
Yeah.
Onix. What if we get a little string to it, and we make it like one of the wiggly worms, and you like pull it through your desert of rice?
Look out! There's a wiggly about.
Yes.
Stop playing with your food. But this time I can, Mom. And you're like.
And that's how you like mix it together to get the spices around. Is you
but the
pull
spice must flow.
Yeah, Mom, I need the spice to flow.
It's like an edible tech deck.
Yes.
Now that's a fucking idea right there.
Yeah, that's an idea. Can you make a skateboard out of licorice?
Yeah.
Oh.
There you go, drunk Don Draper with edible tech deck on his sign, and it's like a beef jerky with wheels on it.
I'd buy it.
I'm all for it, Jeremy. I like that idea a lot.
Can the string be edible? Can it be like on my tongue and I'm like, wow, and then it like comes into my mouth?
It's like a really strong spaghetti noodle.
Yeah. It has good structural integrity for me to do all this.
I like that because originally. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I just like that your recipe like built an environment on the plate. That's just something unique. That's bringing something new to the table that we haven't seen.
Oh,
a diorama, if you will.
You see, Ben, there are many like undercurrents to the thematic streams within Dune. Environmentalism being a very important one. So I'm glad you bring that up.
See, when you knock down the rice on your plate, you're actually terraforming the planet of Arrakis to be hospitable for a new generation of people. Perhaps I might call them the children of Dune, if you will.
Every bite you take is the fucking like Trade Federation just eating up those profits.
Yes.
The crap. What's that called?
Chome.
Chome. Thank you. Chomp. Chomp chome. There's something there.
Okay.
Who's with me?
Yeah.
all 5 of our Dune listeners.
Right.
Yes, our listeners. I just wanted to point out. You said new type of food, Ben. I want to circle back onto something that happened in our absence, which is that I tried Starry last week.
Yeah, that's right.
Starry soda. I was at a Walgreens and they had one left, and it was like a normal size that I could drink. It wasn't 2 liter, it wasn't an 8-pack. So I was like, I'll buy this singular soda, and I drank it, and it tastes like Sierra Mist, and I was like, what the fuck? Why would you do this to me?
Yeah.
But it was sold out. You got the last one. The people want it.
Yes.
No, I bet you know that they're putting it out one bottle at a time.
Each store gets one bottle of Starry.
It's the classic, like, put money in your own tip jar kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah. No, they got like they have the merchandise. They just put one out at a time to make you think like, oh yeah, I got the last.
I've got to get it.
I think actually since the last time we recorded a new episode, I have also tried Starry. I think that happened. And I agree. I think we can all agree we're exiting our Starry era, and we're no longer giving them any free publicity slash like marketing speculation. I don't know. Like,
I mean,
I don't really know what our obsession was.
I'd drink it again.
Okay.
I'm not saying I wouldn't, but
okay. Would you recommend it to a friend?
Maybe like the one time, yeah. Like be like, yeah, everyone should just try Starry. That's all I ask.
So let me put it like this: I usually don't drink soda except when I'm on airplanes. Would you drink a Starry on an airplane?
Only if it was night.
Nice. I mean, I think like 90% of Starry is the packaging. So if they're only handing me Starry in a Southwest Airlines brand cup, like that kind of takes away a lot of the appeal.
Yeah, if all the other options are available even on an airplane, I'm probably getting something else, I gotta say.
And I hate to say it to the Pepsi-Cola Corporation, but they had Sprite on the airplanes, not Starry. So
I was gonna say, like, every airline has Coke products, so they're never making it on a plane.
Well, I'm sure there's some random airline out of Tajikistan that has Starry products. You know what I'm saying?
Starry galore.
Yes.
No. The only place you're gonna get Starry on a public transit is Greyhound.
Oh.
When did they serve you sodas on a Greyhound bus?
Oof.
That's the thing. You get on, you're gonna sit there for 10 hours and you're like, fuck, and they're like, now serving refreshments, and you're like, what?
Oh.
But then it's a fucking Starry.
Yeah, it's not that they served it to you, it's that you found it on the seat next to you as you got on the bus.
They had to hit the brakes really hard, and a Starry rolled to the back. There's the ad.
That'll sell.
Did it again.
Hired on the bus, and then you get shaken awake, and then a can's rolling past you, and they pick it up, and they're like, huh? Like,
yeah,
it's better than nothing.
Yeah, Sorry, it's better than nothing.
So that was my Starry experience. You mentioned new food, so I thought this would be a good time to jump in with that. Ben, what's your recipe this week?
My recipe this week is also a little bit in line of looking at Onix as a worm. And this has to do with the fact that in the Bulbapedia page, it references down at the very bottom that, let me just find this section. Oh, yeah, okay. Its great size could have been inspired by the Mongolian death worm, which is not an actual worm. It's like a snake, but I wanted to, stay on this worm tip because it reminded me of a movie that came out when we were children, which was How to Eat Fried Worms.
Oh, okay.
Oh, classic.
I thought you were going to say Tremors.
That didn't come out when we were kids, did it?
It came out in 1998, which we were 2.
Okay,
right?
So yeah, right. I mean, I'm talking we all saw this movie advertised on TV when we were children.
Okay, I lied. Tremors came out in 1990. I'm sorry.
You just come on this professional podcast and lie, bald-faced lie.
People are relying on us. Somebody could die if we said one false thing on this show.
They're in like some sort of twisted game show where if they get the answer wrong, they like fall into a pit.
That's a chunky.
So I was thinking about this, this movie that I don't think I ever actually saw. I just saw it kind of like advertised, but just reading the plot synopsis, I think I gathered what the movie is about and what happens based on the trailer, which is basically that there's this kid who then they make a bet with the bully that they're going to eat all of these earthworms, 15 earthworms, or 10? I don't remember actually, but a lot of earthworms, 10 earthworms. Yeah. Because leading up to this classic prank, new kid in school, they steal his lunchbox and they fill his thermos full of worms. And so, when the lunch scene happens, he is about to, tuck in, opens up his thermos and there's a bunch of worms in there. Ew, gross. And then he goes, I eat them all the time. And then they get into a big fight. This all happens in the trailer, by the way. So, not spoiling this for any of you out there who want to give How to Eat Fried Worms from 2006 a little spin.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that I think is important is that, and this is in the trailer too, is that they give all of the little worm dishes, some great names, which is basically the majority of the movie, them, kind of making gross out worm recipes, which is kind of similar to this show. So I thought I'd share with you some of these ideas.
Okay.
The first worm is called Le Big Porker.
Well, that's something Ian would say.
Yeah. And apparently what happens in this scene is they get chased by a park ranger for using a grill without adult supervision. So I'm imagining that this Le Big Porker is just grilled earthworm, on the grill.
Yeah. Do you think it gets some nice char marks on it as they're grilling it?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is worm omelet that they end up feeding to their school principal.
Nice.
That's fucking.
They got one that's real spicy called the Burning Fireball.
Nice.
They got a sweet one called the Barf Mallow, which is marshmallow one. I'll just run through these last few. Magnafried, peanut butter and worm jam sandwich.
Not good.
The green slusher. Radioactive slime delight. Worm a la mud, which sounds kind of just au naturel. But then the one that I wanted to focus on that sounded the most appealing and the most in line with what I think I could do with good old Onix here is the Greasy Brown Toad Bloater Special, which, according to this Wikipedia page, is they dunk the worms in a deep fryer and smears liver juice on them. So that doesn't sound appealing, but I will make it sound appealing to you. Because what I'm presupposing is that Onix is simply a snake made of tiny little livers that are kind of like rocks.
Sorry, what?
This is a liver-based snake.
Yeah.
Some might say the liver is the only organ you need to live.
Well, if you look at it, it's not that far from, the truth, right?
Sorry, my brain is still catching up a little bit.
Big livers, small livers.
So what I think Ben is saying is, aside from the head, each segment of the Onix is a different liver, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dried. Oh, obviously. That's why it's hard like a rock,
Okay. It's not that he just drank so much in his youth.
Yeah. Exactly. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to have to rehydrate these Onix livers. So chop off the head, disconnect all of the little livers that are connected, and then we're going to soak them in water overnight so they kind of rehydrate. Then we are going to use those for a sauce. So in the I assume in the movie they didn't really do a whole lot of prep. It was just kind of like, whoa, wouldn't it be crazy if there was chicken livers? So, but we are going to put a little bit of more effort into this. So you're going to take the onyx livers and you're going to saute them in oil for a couple minutes on both sides. Then you are going to add some shallot, garlic, and thyme to the skillet and cook until the those start to get like really fragrant and soft. And then you're gonna remove your meats. We're gonna come back to the actual liver, but then we're gonna make this sauce kind of based off of the juices that we've been able to cook out with the garlic and shallots. Then we're going to add some sherry and cook that for a little bit until it starts to get a little bit more sauce-like. And then you're going to put all of this into a blender and give it a zzz, so that it gets really, consistent. And then you are going to save that for the side. Your livers are going to go in the deep fryer, so they're going to get real nice and crispy. And then you're going to take them out and then serve it with the deep fried onyx liver and then the liver sauce right on, like kind of drizzled on top. So it has that crunch. It has that like rich sauce that's kind of, helping it to like loosen up a little bit. And it's just a good hearty meal that doesn't make you think of nasty eating worms, but like the kind of meal that you would find at like a nice fine eating establishment.
A nice like a pate or something.
Yeah, some sort of French restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah. With kind of an American twist. It's like, because the deep fryer situation.
Oh, sure.
Yes. Do you guys like liver?
No.
I've had pate, but I don't go seeking liver, I'll say.
Okay.
I enjoy liver pate a lot, actually. But I've never bought it on my own. I don't know if I could commit to eating like a whole container.
All by yourself?
Yeah.
By the big spoon?
Finger in the jar, like.
Yes.
Yeah. Peanut butter and jelly style. Like.
Yes. You're like, it's a 3-finger night tonight, and you just stick your fingers in there real deep, bring them out and eat it.
Yep, that's what I. Yep.
So and just to summarize, that is the this is the Onix. What is this? The Onix Greasy Brown Toad Bloater Special.
It's kind of gross sounding, but I would give it a try.
Would you make a bet to try it?
What would I win in this bet?
I actually don't know what the stakes were. I think that the stakes were just that he would stop getting bullied by these guys.
Yeah, I thought it was like they like stopped wedging him or something.
Oh, actually, no. I remember reading this in the Wikipedia page. There's a ring that the bully has that if he punches you, you'll die in the 8th grade. So it's a literally life and death, Jeremy.
Okay,
if you don't eat this fucking liver, you're gonna die.
In the 8th grade.
Yeah. In the 8th grade.
Okay. Whew, I'm trying to pass that already. Unless I get sent back to middle school for some reason.
Adam Sandler style.
Yeah.
I have a question about the movie because I watched the trailer while you were talking about it.
Oh my god. You were watching TV while I was talking?
I was listening. I had it on silent.
Fuck
I was just
you.
looking at the. It was like you were narrating the.
Yeah.
Oh, even better.
Ben was like, in a world.
Yeah,
where
right.
you
I should have put on my
deep-fried
like
worms.
early 2000s movie narrator voice, like Billy's new in town.
Yeah, and then you like
good.
got a bunch of like VFX where it's like fart noise, woo, and like a slide whistle and like a boing kind of thing. You know how
This
it is.
summer, Billy eats 10 worms or fucking dies.
Be there.
Be there, April 25th.
But what did you learn, Ian?
I didn't learn shit, but it was kind of fun because it was like they were talking about the worm recipes. Like after you said the title of each one, they like showed it. Do you think real worms were harmed in the making of that film?
Well, in the trailer, that said that they weren't. So,
does it at the end?
It does. That's actually something that I remember distinctly watching it on TV. Is they were like, no worms were harmed in the making of this one, and then they like there's a microwave scene at the end where it blows up and all the kids are like, ew, and then the narrator's like, even that one.
Nice.
Yep. Wow, there you go. I feel there must be a level of sentience where the no animals were harmed thing doesn't actually apply anymore. Like, I'm just saying, like, if there's like you're shooting a movie and you like step on some like fucking ants, I don't think they're gonna get you for that one.
I think they only have to say it if it's on screen. So
yeah. Well, but what if the ants are on screen and you stepped on them in the scene?
Well,
I think you got to use fake ants.
You gotta get the ants from ants.
Yes.
yes.
I mean, at least one of them's Woody Allen, so that'd be okay to step on him.
You gotta have
Right,
you gotta have Weta Digital do your ants.
Yes, just 100% CGI ants everywhere. But certainly bugs don't count.
They do.
No animals were harmed.
Aren't worms a bug?
They aren't. I don't think. But they don't have a spine. Is that what we're using as like kind of like the levels here?
Well, then you can just like fuck up a lobster.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. Do fish count? Like,
I fucking saw The Last Mermaid. That lobster got fucked up.
Yes. Ben, did you call it The Last Mermaid or The Little Mermaid?
I did call it The Last Mermaid.
Last Mermaid.
Were you thinking of The Last of Us when you said that?
Yep. Yep.
Because I remember when they filmed Pineapple Express, and there's that scene where they're like blowing weed smoke on the caterpillar. I read like an interview where it was like we had to find like a smoke-safe caterpillar to use for this scene.
I don't know. I just can't. It's a bug. Like,
Jeremy, every like
all
being,
creatures.
All life is
all
precious.
creatures, great and small. I get it, but I fucking step on bugs all the day.
All the day.
All the
you
day.
work in a fucking library. Where are you stepping on these bugs?
Well, outside when I'm walking outside and there's like an ant or like a beetle.
Watch where you're going.
I can't always see where
Someone's gonna sue you.
I squashed a bug driving fucking here. I was driving and there was a bug in my car and I went slam. It was fucking dead.
And then the ants that was walking next to it, that were those buddies that were like, "Hey, watch where you're going!" Fuck.
Well, Jeremy's a cold-blooded killer.
Yeah,
Apparently.
Well, I'll do some research into this and I'll bring back my findings next week. But
Expect
Evan,
a letter from PETA.
Yes. What's your recipe this week?
Okay, my recipe this week. Yeah, so eating more rocks, I had to dig deep a little bit here. I had to dig in my heels and do some research. But one thing I did find rock adjacent was The Rock's favorite cookie.
Oh.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson himself, his favorite cookie, also apparently Ludacris's favorite cookie, is a very what?
Can we guess?
Oh, sure. You're never. I don't think you're gonna guess.
It's not chocolate chip, because if it was just those two people whose favorite cookie it was, we would know.
Is it what are the Samoa? Because
nice.
The Rock is
Close,
Samoan,
but not quite.
Oh.
Is it backpacker?
What is that?
It's like a
backpacker cookie.
I think I'm thinking of it right. It's like a peanut butter cookie with chocolate chips and nuts.
Ooh.
I'm unfamiliar, but sounds delightful.
So I mean, in this case, it could be lots of different things, because in this one, so I'll just send you guys a picture to see what this looks like. But it's basically a giant fucking cookie that's meant to feed 4 people. But
wait, what do you mean meant to feed 4 people? Cookies are made
their
like
favorite.
That.
It's like finally a cookie that's like me size.
Yeah, exactly. That's he just digs right in. But essentially, this cookie is an amalgamation of a lot of delicious things. So in the picture that I sent, there's Oreos on the inside. There's another one that's like full of, Butterfinger and Snickers, and it's like the Cold Stone Creamery of cookies, basically.
Oh, I see what's going on here.
Exactly. Yes.
Is there one place that sells these?
There is. It's a little bakery in Kaluhui, Hawaii.
Oh, well, got a little bit of the South Pacific thing.
You could do it. So, and adding to that, because it is The Rock's favorite cookie, I'm very, very large presupposition here that Onix is a series of chained macadamia nuts.
Nice.
Oh.
Okay.
So we're just going, yeah. So essentially, we're using these where you have to chunk up each individual piece of Onix to get macadamia nut chunks to go inside of this mega cookie as well. So yeah, it includes some Oreos. There's some Butterfingers in this one, some pineapple chunks, and some macadamia nuts to make a delicious Hawaiian mega cookie.
Wow.
It's a pretty short recipe. You know how to make cookies. Like you just put all the stuff in after the dough is made. Like it's not rocket science.
Is it like okay, so yeah, you're just making a cookie out of the Onix. Are the cookies very large like the Onix?
I mean, they're definitely double-handed. Like you need two hands if you're just going to take one bite out of this
Unless
thing.
you're the rock.
Exactly, yeah. But the Onix itself is just giant macadamia nuts that you're just breaking down and chiseling into tiny chunks that you can work with. Yeah.
How many bits of the Onix can we take away before it's not an Onix anymore?
How many? You mean like physical bits, like it's no longer rocks anymore, or like pieces of it, like starting
sections.
with the bottom part of the tail and taking bits off? Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Like
I think the head is really all that classifies it. I think. So if you
well,
take the head off,
2 would be strange too. 2 would also be
a little weird.
I think you need at least like 6 little sections.
It says that it like if it gets cut in half or something, it can still keep fighting, and then it like you can either reattach the pieces or it regenerates or something. So I was wondering if you could just have like a head. It's like seeing like a semi truck without the back, you know?
I mean, probably, yeah. I don't know how effective it would be at anything because yeah, that's a good question.
It would just be wiggling.
Rolling.
Hey, that's a really good question, though.
Reggie, write in. Let us
know. So, okay, if it were just the head, its whole thing is it, digs under like a worm and just like tunnels under the ground and eats stuff. As it like poops out earth, does that just add more body back to it? So if it generate that way,
does it eat and what it eats becomes it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh.
It just carries its shit around for the rest of its life.
Until you eat
it's
it.
Like a big game of
Snake.
It just keeps getting bigger.
Ooh, there you go.
Damn.
Okay.
I don't know. Evan, you stumped me.
Excuse me?
You stumped me.
Okay. Well, I enjoy that interpretation. I can imagine a very I kind of want to see like a set of onyxes that are like all different kinds of like nuts, like a macadamia nut onyx, and then like maybe a coconut onyx that's just like coconuts all the way down.
Yeah. I like how is that a type of nut? Is a coconut really a type of nut?
It is.
Yeah.
A coconut is in fact a type of nut.
Oh, okay.
All right. I'll allow it.
Well, Jeremy said so. So
yeah, I'm true. I'm right about everything.
It is his show.
Yes. Thank you. All right. Let us move on to the voting section of the show where we democratically decide who's the winner this week. From me, we have Onyx Tail Stew. From Ian, we have a Dune-themed Onyx pastry, if I'm remembering correctly. Did it have a specific name? I'm trying to recall.
Yeah, it is called The Spice Must Flow.
Okay.
Chicken, cinnamon, spice, roulade with turmeric rice dunes.
Okay. Roulade was the word I was looking for.
I love the recipes that are basically the title of a movie.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, the entire movie, instead of Dune Part 2, if I had to go up to the theater and I was like, 1 ticket, please, for The Spice Must Flow Part 2, chicken roulade through cinnamon and cumin or rice desert or whatever, I think that might be a little much. From Ben, we have Onyx a worm liver dish, and from Evan we have Onyx cookie. Everyone, please vote, and Ben, tell us who the winner is.
I will once all the votes have been cast, and they have been. I can tell you with certainty that Ian Davis has won this week's episode of I Choose You with 3 votes. Count them, 3 votes.
Yeah.
I'd like to rename the show with my new power, I Choose Dune.
Oh.
I thought you were going to call it Ian Choose You.
Oh.
It's a Dune show now.
Yeah.
I will say that I maybe should have gone with my first thought, which was a little bit less fleshed out.
Flesh.
Yeah. Which was my first thought was candy bracelets.
Oh, that would have been good.
It's funny you said that because my original idea was going to be popcorn tinsel.
Oh,
also good.
This is what we do all day before we start recording.
Okay, I really want to see an Onix that's popcorn with like the little eyes in the mouth, but it's just
like
real pictures of popcorn.
Yeah.
Maybe Ian can get it on his way out from the movie theater and it blows in his face.
There you go.
In a blustery spring day.
Hey, if it's all connected, he's not going to lose it.
That's true. Maybe you should ask them. Yeah, you should ask them when you get your extra large popcorn to string it all up.
Can you sew that together for me?
Yeah.
I just like put a thing of floss on the table and slide it across.
And then you eat it like one long corn on the cob. So you start on one end and you're like, just
sideways?
Yeah. I mean, you pull it through your mouth. I don't know. All right. Next is Whale Lord's Mail Horde. Now, we do have emails, but they're for the wrong Pokemon. So I'm sorry for everybody, but our Salazzle recipes will come in 10 weeks. So be patient. 10 whole weeks. Evan, you'll be married by then. So
I will.
Whoa. That's true.
Yeah. So, or maybe not quite. It'll be close. I don't know how time works. But keep those Salazzle recipes in your back pocket. Otherwise, our crazy schedule means that recipes haven't been sent in. And let's pick next week's Pokemon, a segment I like to call Pick-a-mon. Now, let's do a little bit of a brainstorming here because we're doing old ones. I'm going through generation one. Now I've thought as seasons now. Is there anything we've missed from here that you guys want to do? Did we do like
looking through?
Yeah, have we done like Muck? Have we done that? Is that
we
one
did?
We could do?
We did
Grimer.
Muck.
We did Grimer. Have we done Snorlax?
We have done Snorlax in a finale, I think.
Okay. All right.
How
about
What about Agumon?
What?
Fuck you.
Fuck out of here.
Oh, I think actually someone sent this in our Discord too. Lapras. Have we done Lapras before?
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so. Another one to put on the table. Have we done Voltorb before?
I
don't think we have.
No,
okay.
We haven't.
Well, that's another one, but I'll gladly take a Lapras today for Voltorb next week.
Let's do it. Let's do Lapras.
So join us next week for our Lapras episode. Let's now move on to the plug section of the show, where we tell about our fans about our stuff that we can find on the internet. Let's start with Ben. Where can we find you?
You can follow me on Twitter at Ben C. Montoya or on Tumblr at thefearandnow.tumblr.com.
Ian.
You can find me at Musician Davis on Instagram. I have some good bass covers there of some fun songs.
Oh, wow. Evan.
You can find me on Twitter at E_Van Aubrey, at posts at E_Van, at, I don't know, there's too many social networks nowadays. I'm probably on all of them. I had to swoop up all my handles just in case one of them got big. So building my follower accounts on everything. Mastodon, Blue Sky.
Wow, are you tooting on Mastodon?
No, I don't toot.
Okay. All right. You can follow me on Twitter at VelocityPrime1. You can follow me on Tumblr at VelocityPrime1. And you can check out my writings at the-avocado.org, the-avocado.org. Jeremy Zielik. I'm going to slowly put something together, hopefully in the next couple of weeks before that new Zelda game comes out, about the old one that you've already played. Yeah. So nice. I've got a interesting I've got a what a concept about that one. So keep an eye out for that. Check that all out, the-avocado.org. So this has been I Choose You, the podcast about cooking and eating Pokemon. You can find us on your favorite podcasting apps, including Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, or your podcast catcher of choice. If you like our show, give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify to help us go up the ranks. If you want more I Choose You goodness, may I suggest checking out our social media pages, I Choose Pod on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. If you want to be a part of the I Choose You community, join the I Choose You Discord. We always talk about a lot of fun stuff over there. You can see some of my vacation photos if you want. If you want to see the cooked in the volcano, it's there on the I Choose You Discord. So links in the episode description if you want to head on over. Last but not leastly, check out our website, ichooseyou.menu. ichooseyou.menu has a full episode archive and a merch store, all designed by one Evan Aubrey, and that's at ichooseyou.menu. And so this has been the show. I've been your host, Jeremy Zelick, the Alton Brown of the group.
I've been your friend on the show, Ben Montoya.
I've been Ian Davis, the God Emperor of Dune.
Oh, shit.
Oh, and Evan Aubrey. Hi, I zoned out for a second. Yes, it was so meditative.
Yes. And to all the choosies out there in Radio Land, in a while, Totodile.
Yeah, I choose you. Yeah, I choose you. Everybody wants to be a master chef. Everybody wants to show their skill. In the kitchen, everybody wants to cook that cruncher. Finian at the top of the grill. Each time you fry, gonna cook it just a little bit better. Each taste you try, boy, this frokie is nice and tender. It's a whole new world we cook in. It's a whole new place to eat. We're in season 6 with some brand new recipes, 'cause we're still gonna cook them all and make a pun or 2 or 3. It's a whole new world we cook in. It's a whole new place to eat. We're in season 6 with some brand new recipes, 'cause we're still gonna cook them all and make a pun or 2 or 3.